Oh, okay.
In a very loving way.
Gotta love a freak show.
Everybody loves a freak show, don't we, Terry Murray? Oh, that pretty lady. Yeah, that whole family is just completely crazy. They're just in all the good ways. In all the good ways. Oh my God! Thank you so much for sharing your.
Family back there too. Don't let them get away with it.
Okay, more Murrays back there,
Thank you.
and they're all nuts. All right, so we have one more storyteller, but when she is done and her music is done, if anybody wants to jump up on stage and tell a little story, you can. So whoever wants to come up, just come on up, and we'll just do we'll time it. We'll 1 minute, because we don't want it to be too long in the tooth. We do not. And then whatever. It'll be fun. And if you're thinking about telling a story ever, it's a really good way to just jump up on stage with a light on you and a huge network of people behind you that adore you and will support you in every way. All right, so our next storyteller, and I have to read this because I did not memorize this beautiful poem that she sent. Anise Moses. Anise Moses bakes sweet magic with sugar and grace, shares every cookie with a smile on her face. A beachcomber wandering where seashells are found, she finds peace where the waves hit the sand with no sound. She writes by the window with tea in hand, spinning tales from dust, just like castles from sand. Anise Moses.
Confession, that was AI generated. I said that when I said, I always say the same thing, so I said I'm just AI generated poem, but you're supposed to add that, so that wasn't me. So thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have an audience to tell a story. I think everybody likes to feel listened to, and you guys don't have a choice, so thank you for being here. My friends always try to find out what I'm writing, and I usually don't tell them, but I did tell one friend, and because she kept saying, is it going to be funny? And when I told her what it was about, as my friend said, there's nothing funny about a dead dog story. So I'm apologizing in advance, but the other topics I was considering were Trump, being a Jew, and cancer, so it could have been worse. I promise this isn't just a story about a dead dog. It's about all the mess we carry and what happens when something small and stubborn forces you to confront it. I was born into a cat household. Siegfried and Brunhilde, named for two lovers in an opera, were purring portable space heaters that slept curled in my crib. I loved my cats, but I longed to have a childhood dog. Alas, it was not in the cards. The tolerance for the chaos of a dog, the barking, the shedding, the licking, the human-sized poops, that was not in the molecular makeup of my family. Distractions were purchased: fish, gerbils, hamsters, mice, and a lone guinea pig named Abigail, but they did not quell the want of a little girl aching for a dog. The yearning never went away. I got married and moved to the burbs, where every block was dotted with the stereotypical suburban trappings of trees, babies, and dogs. This was prior to the elevated dotting of yoga pants, personalized pastel Stanley cups, and acai bowls. Our house was on a quiet street directly across from a wildflower sanctuary and the local kindergarten. But what closed the deal for me, how I knew after dozens of open houses that this was going to be my home, was the dog door tucked into the corner nook of the kitchen. It was destiny. This was going to be that home, the one filled with the joyous chaos of barking, shedding, licking, and pooping. I couldn't wait. When I say I couldn't wait, I mean it. 3 months into my marriage, we got a lab puppy who grew up to be legitimately an absolute angel on earth, and who lived a long enough life to build memories with every one of our 4 children. 16 years after our angelic Sydney had come into our lives, and 2 years since he had passed, enter stage left a 4-month-old rat terrier named Nellie. We had never owned a small dog. I wasn't into the miniature scene. I had some laughs and judgment when I would see a $2,500 plus snickerdoodle schnoodle kitten caboodle dog walking down the street in a bedazzled hoodie licking a latte. It really didn't matter anyway, because Nellie wasn't ours. We were just fostering her for 2 weeks, until the youngest of the bunch, my then 5-year-old daughter, fell madly in love, and our family became a +1 for the next 12 years. I had no idea how much this little dog would test me, or what she'd eventually teach me. Nellie had 3 nicknames: Nellie Belly, Nellie Bells, and the Little Pisser. Nellie was highly intelligent and expressive. When she was excited, she would throw all 4 of her legs in all directions and wiggle forward on her belly while making little howling noises in her throat. She was a mini burglar alarm, alerting us to serious threats, such as Oscar the mailman and the UPS guy with the Tom Selleck mustache and awesome calves. But most importantly, she became my daughter's best friend, roommate, and confidant, silently logging 12 years worth of whispered secrets she could tell no one else. And I was thankful for all that Nellie gave her. But things between me and Nellie were complicated. That dog door I mentioned earlier, to Nellie, this was a mere suggestion. And while the majority of time she would push the flap open, go outside and do her business, sometimes, many times, many more times than I would have liked, Nellie would just pee on the floor. And the stair runner, and the landing, and on the rug that replaced that rug, and so on. We had to swap out stained floorboards and eventually move out to refinish everything. We had to put up a baby gate to the living room to protect the one expensive rug we owned. I resented having to put a sign on my bedroom door that read in all caps, "Do not leave this door open ever. Nellie is never ever allowed in the bedroom. Never, ever, ever." And in addition, I installed a mechanism that slammed the door shut since Nellie couldn't read. This dog was not stupid, and I'm sure if she could talk, she would have her reasons. It's raining outside. She didn't want to mess up her fur. My daughter's having a sleepover. She's not into threesomes. That we called her for a walk in a tone that she didn't care for, but then was mad that we left without her. So much damage, and at the same time, so much healing and comfort for my kid. Like I said, complicated. But Nellie wasn't all piss and vinegar. She loved laps and eating grass and jumping 4 feet in the air for her breakfast, dinner, and treats, like a dog in the circus. She would burrow under the blankets, keep watch from the stairs, and snatch unmonitored pizza slices from the table. She was very expressive, observant, and loyal. But I have to admit, I have struggled for years with this dog. I loved her, but I didn't always like her. Something's wrong with Nellie. I got to the bottom of the stairs where my husband sat crouched over Nellie as she lay stunned on the floor. We headed to the emergency vet. Her gums were pale, probably related to her heart, they said, which is not good, they said. We sat in silence and waited. When the doctor returned, I knew the news was grim. She showed us a video of Nellie's heart, surrounded by blood, a tumor in the right ventricle. We brought her home knowing we'd be saying goodbye the next day. Our house felt very heavy with anticipatory grief. We took Nellie to the beach, where she happily sniffed around and ate grass. We stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got her a pup cup filled to the top with whipped cream, and Nellie spent her final night beside my daughter. This happened 2 weeks ago today. This wasn't the story I planned to tell. But every time I attempted to write about something else, I'd circle back to Nellie and the tangle of emotions her life and death brought up for me. The conundrum of holding love and resentment in the same breath. How this small creature became the unlikely catalyst for a reckoning I didn't know I needed. The impending loss bubbled up as grief, of course, but also anger, guilt, shame, and regret. Not just about Nellie, but about other things, older things, people I've pushed away, conversations I never had, apologies I didn't make. The weight of it all showed up in that one moment brought on by a 12-pound dog who really annoyed me, but I loved her anyway. Before we let Nellie go, she and I had a moment alone. I cried, I stroked her head, I told her she was a mostly good girl. And then I recited a mantra of forgiveness and reconciliation. I love you, thank you, I forgive you, please forgive me. And as I said these words, I realized they weren't just for Nellie. They were practice, a kind of quiet preparation for the goodbyes still ahead, the ones I'll say one day to the people I love the most. Ones where the complications of loving, forgiving, and saying goodbye doesn't always come wrapped neatly in a bow. Nellie, enjoy your wings.
Oh.